गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रजजन रंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजक आचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की जय। पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। जगन्नाथ देव बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। गंगामाई जमुनामाई की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय, सीमापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय, इस्कॉन गुरु वृंद की जय, समावेत भक्त वृंद की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं स्वाद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो ओं विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्देशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिशे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय, ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we shall read from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Slok 1 to 4. Name of this chapter is The Pandavas Retire Timely. So here we find the situation is Lord Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has left this world. Of course, if we do not die, what to speak of the Lord? We are the souls. Souls don't die, right? Huh? Souls do not die. So what to speak of the super soul? Right? So, what is the question of his death? No. Just like the sun sets, does not mean sun is finished. Sun is on the other side of the globe. So, similarly, the Lord goes from one planet to another to perform his pastimes. There is a group of dramatists in Calcutta, around Calcutta. They have big dramas, say sometimes 2 hours, 3 hours drama. And they go from place to place performing the same drama. Somewhere pandal is being constructed, somewhere drama is going on, somewhere the pandal is dismantled, like that. Today in the district of Nadia, then next day they go to Malda, next day goes to Kuch Bihar, some different places they perform their dramas. And in the drama, someone dies, someone becomes sick, someone runs away, different situations, someone becomes king, someone becomes pauper, different roles they play. Similarly, the pastimes of the Lord also are of same type. Maybe this drama party is an imitation of the pastimes of the Lord. None of them die actually. Just like it is said that when going for Mahaprasthan, going to heaven, on the way Draupadi Devi fell down and died. So they made Draupadi's Samadhi. If you go to Badrinath, you will find, if you go a little further towards Nānā-śaṅkāspadaṁ Parvat, you will find on the way Vyas Gufa and Draupadi's Samadhi and Bhimshila, where Bhimsen was to cross a river and then he broke top of a hill and put that big chunk of rock on that river and cross by that rock you can cross the river. So here it says that Draupadi could go to heaven, she passed away there. But in fact it's not like that. It is wherever Kṛṣṇa goes, his party goes. His party is always there, playing different roles. So here we find Lord Kṛṣṇa departed, and the situation is very, very pathetic. Very, very pathetic scene. So let us try. Slok 1, Sūta uvāca, evaṁ kṛṣṇa-sakhaḥ kṛṣṇo bhrātrā rājñā vikalpitaḥ nānā-śaṅkāspadaṁ rūpaṁ kṛṣṇa-viśleṣa-karśitaḥ. Evam, in this way, kṛṣṇa-sakhaḥ, this friend of Kṛṣṇa, Arjuna, Kṛṣṇa, whose name is also Kṛṣṇa. Another name of Arjuna is Kṛṣṇa. So Kṛṣṇa's friend Kṛṣṇa, bhrātrā rājñā vikalpitaḥ, because before this, his elder brother Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj found Arjuna to be very, very aggrieved. He's crying practically. And he is asking him what is the reason of his grief, why he is crying, lamenting. And he was asking different questions, whether he was failure at some place, whether someone dishonored him. In that way, he was exploring trying to find out reason of Arjuna's grief. Actually, this is the real brotherhood. Elder brother is not happy that the younger brother is unhappy. So he is trying all his best to explore the reason of why he is sorry. What is the problem? And the younger brother, he does not want to say that the Lord has departed, because he will feel hurt, which is practically unbearable to hear for especially Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj and Arjuna, those who are very, very close friends, close brothers, relatives of Lord Kṛṣṇa. So, Arjuna was generally in our culture, if some young man died, to inform his parents, we hesitate to write, your son died. Rather, information is given, your son is very, very serious, come soon. We send telegraph, your son is very serious, come soon. Of course, they imagine that come soon means very serious, means something serious. But they hesitate to give the information that your son died, because they may feel too shocked, and sometimes they go unconscious. Hearing the message, they go unconscious. Sometimes they become sick out of grief, out of separation of such close, near and dear ones. So, it is said that don't say that he died, he just inform in this way. So here Arjuna is not willing to tell Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj that the Lord has passed. At the same time, he has no other way but to say. Of course, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj could already guess the situation. But still, the situation is, and this is the real brotherhood. Real brotherhood. None of them want to see that other one is hurt. Just like when Lord Kṛṣṇa went away to Mathura from Vrindavan, the Brajavasis were grief-stricken, and almost they gave up their eating also. They were half dead. Their ovens were getting filled with cobweb, because they don't cook, don't eat. They feel like rather we die, better we die than to live like this without Kṛṣṇa. And the gopis who used to be very close to Kṛṣṇa, out of that Srimati Radharani, she says that better I die than tolerating this separation. It is impossible for me to tolerate this separation. Better I die. Then again thinks, oh, if I die and he comes, he told he will be coming soon. And if he comes, he will feel sorry. He will feel unhappy. Now I cannot tolerate, he will feel unhappy. So I cannot die also. So this is the deep love, affection. So in that way they are related. This depth of love is very much. So Krishna, that here Arjuna was unhappy. And nānā-śaṅkāspadaṁ rūpaṁ, different doubtful question Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj was asking. And finally, what happens? Sūta Gosvāmī says, Arjuna, the celebrated friend of Lord Kṛṣṇa, was grief-stricken because of his strong feeling of separation from Kṛṣṇa. Over and above all, Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira's speculative inquiries. Purport: being too much aggrieved, Arjuna practically became choked up, and therefore it was not possible for him to reply properly to the various speculative inquiries of Maharaj Yudhiṣṭhira. So, getting choked up. When Dhruva Maharaj saw the Lord in front of him, he got choked up. He could not speak properly. This choking up in the pastime of Mahaprabhu many times while they were in Puri, to say Jagannath, he says ja, ga, ga. He cannot pronounce Jagannath. So much of, in an ecstatic situation, choked up. So that is also possible. And here, due to grief, Arjuna is getting choked up. He cannot speak. Slok 2. Shokena śuṣyad-vadana hṛt-sarojo hata-prabhaḥ vivaṁ tameva anusmaran asaknot pratibhāsitum. Shokena, due to grief. Śuṣyad-vadana hṛt-sarojo. Śuṣyat means drying up. Vadana means face. śuṣyad-vadana hṛt-sarojo. Saroja means lotus. Saro means the pond or lake, and what is takes birth in this lake is saroja. Saro means lake. Saroja means lotus. So, hṛt-saroja, the lotus of his heart. Lotus of his heart. Arjuna's lotus of his heart and the face dried up. śuṣyat-vadana hṛt-sarojo. His face was dried and his heart was dried, which was supposed to be like a lotus. Hata-prabhaḥ. Hata-prabhaḥ, his glamour, his brightness is gone. Prabha, his brightness. His brightness is not there. Vivaṁ, the Lord, tameva anusmaran, and remembering him, asaknot pratibhāsitum. Ashaknot pratibhashtum, could not say, could not reply. Due to grief, Arjuna's mouth and lotus-like heart had dried up. Therefore, his body lost all luster. Now, remembering the Supreme Lord, he could hardly utter a word in reply. Slok 3. Kṛṣṇa saṅstabha śucah paninam rājñā netrayo parokṣena samunnadha pranayutkanthakātaraha. Kṛṣṇa, with great difficulty. Kṛṣṇa, with great difficulty. Like kṛṣṇa, arujya kṛṣṇa param padam tata. Achieving, going up with great difficulty. Saṅstabha śucah. Saṅstabha means by checking the force. He was trying to check his emotion. Emotionally he was devastated. Still he was trying to check his emotion. Paninam rājñā netrayo. Panina, by the hands. Mrīcca matlab rubbing. And netrayo, both eyes. Rubbing both eyes with his hands to remove the tears. Parokṣena, indirectly, samunnadha pranayutkanthakātaraha. Pranaya utkanthakātara. Pranaya means loving relationship. Utkantha means anxiety. Pranaya utkantha. This loving relationship is in anxiety because of separation from Lord Kṛṣṇa. Kātara, distressed. So Arjuna is in a very great distress because his best friend, one cannot have better friend than Kṛṣṇa. One cannot have better friend than Kṛṣṇa. It is said when Kṛṣṇa left Braj, Vrindavan, then Uddhava was sent to Vrindavan. You go and pacify them, Lord Kṛṣṇa said. So Uddhava went to pacify the Brajavasis because they are crying. So then, after going there, he found they are crying, Kṛṣṇa, 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 crying for Kṛṣṇa. To cry for Kṛṣṇa is the highest perfection of life. To cry for Kṛṣṇa is the perfection of life, and they are doing that. And now, who's that? Uddhava. Uddhava is told to tell them not to cry. So Uddhava is in a very dilemma, what to do with them. These people are crying day and night, Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa. And it is understood that crying for Kṛṣṇa is the perfection of life. And they are in the same stage. And then he also went and told them, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda Mai, he told them that you should not cry. Why? Because your son is God. Oh yes, I should not cry, we should not cry, because my son is God and he left us. I should not cry. My son is God and he left, so I should not cry. They started more crying. So, in that way, Uddhava was in a trouble how to pacify them. Although he was disciple of Brihaspati, having so much knowledge, but still, when he went to pacify the Brajavasis, he was dumbfounded. How can I pacify them? How? So, this is the symptom of deep loving relation. A real friend, a real brother, a real son or parents, they have the same deep love for each other. Many times, in separation of one, another becomes almost useless. Just like Bhakti Maharaj, when he was a boy, his mother passed away. His father was quite a standard person, railway officer. But, and he used to be very much, English-speaking family, and he was very much high class. But Maharaj's mother died due to some disease. And as she died, Maharaj's father almost was disbalanced. He could not maintain his activities as such. Happens. Many times the husband works with the strength of the wife. They are, they are integral part. So, similarly, here we find that with great difficulty, he checked the tears of grief that smeared his eyes. So we should have love for our spiritual master. We should have love for our God brothers, God sisters, because they are our real relatives. Real relatives are the devotees, and the spiritual master is our spiritual father. So, to cry in separation of one's guru is very, very much required, and it happens automatically. Just like Srila Bhakti Maharaj, when he left, the disciples and well-wishers were crying and weeping. And their tears were not dried 1 year past. So, this is the situation. And to feel aggrieved in separation of Gurudev, and then here what to speak of the Lord himself, by whose absence the whole world becomes dark practically for a person who loves him. For him there is no meaning to life anymore. Just like I was hearing, when Prabhupada passed away, Prabhupada was put in Samadhi. And Bhaktacharya Maharaj was there at the bottom. And he was, people were dumping the mud, soil. And he was there. He didn't get out. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj could see, and then said, come. No, I do not want to go. I do not want to go. So this is love for the spiritual master. They feel my spiritual master is more than my life, more valuable than my life. Pranadhik. Pran means life and adhik means more than. So, one spiritual master becomes pranadhik, more than one's own life. So here I find Arjuna had the same situation. When Krishna is not there, what is the use of my living here? And the Pandavas had same feeling. They could not rule the country. They left for Mahaprasthan, great departure. So in that way, with great difficulty he checked the tears of grief. Here, instead of text 4, they wrote text 1 again. 1, 2, 3, then 1 again. Printing mistake. So with great difficulty, he checked the tears of grief that smeared his eyes. He was very distressed because Lord Kṛṣṇa was out of his sight, and he increasingly felt affection for him. Shunnaitam jagat sarvam govinda virahiname. Srimati Radharani is feeling this world became emptied due to separation of Govinda. This world is empty. Jugaitam nimeshana. Spending one moment of time looks like it's too long to continue. Generally, when we have acute pain of some disease, time does not pass. Time does not go by. Right? So similarly, even a little moment of time looks like too long to continue. Okay, so we shall go to the today's sloka. Sakhang Maitring Sauridang Cha Sarathadishu Sangsmaran Nripam Agrajam Ittaha Bashpa Gadgadaya Gira Sakhang Maitring Sauridang Cha Sarathadishu Sangsmaran Nripamagrajam Ittaha Bashpagadgadaya Gira Sakhang Maitring Sauridang Cha Sarathādishu saṅsmaran nripamagrajamityāha baṣpagadgadaya gira sakkhaṃ moitriṃ sahridaṃ ca Sarathādishu saṅsmaran nripamagrajamityāha baṣpagadgadaya gira. Mataji's? Sakkhaṃ, well-wishing, moitrim, benediction, sahridam, intimely related. Same word, sakkhaṃ, moitrim, sahridam, friendship. But still, there is difference. Sakkhaṃ, well-wishing. Sakha is friend. But Sakha is well-wisher. Moitrim, benediction, one who gives benediction. And sahridam, intimely related. So these Sanskrit words have got difference in their meaning, although it is the same word practically. So, how much you read? Sahridam. Cha, also. Sarathādishu, in becoming the chariot driver. Saratha adishu. Saratha means drivership. Drivership. Adishu, etc. Saṅsmaran, remembering all these. Rūpaṁ, unto the king. Agrajam, the eldest brother. Iti, thus. Aha, said. Baṣpa, heavily breathing. Gadgadaya, overwhelmingly. Gira, by speeches. Translation and purport by Prabhupada. Remembering Lord Kṛṣṇa and his well wishes, benedictions, intimely familiar relations, and his chariot driving, Arjuna, overwhelmed and breathing very heavily, began to speak. Please repeat. Remembering Lord Kṛṣṇa and his well wishes, benedictions, intimate familial relations. I was saying intimely, intimate. It is intimate. Sorry. I was saying intimely. and his chariot driving, Arjuna, overwhelmed and breathing very heavily, began to speak. Before this, he was not able to speak. And now he is trying to speak. You can imagine. Half will come out, half will not. The Supreme Living Being is perfect in all relations with his pure devotee. Sri Arjuna is one of the typical pure devotee of the Lord, reciprocating in the fraternal relationship. And the Lord's dealings with Arjuna are displays of friendship of the highest perfect order. So they are real friends, real well-wisher, real relatives. Arjuna, Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, real brothers, not so-called brothers. Like in Kali Yuga we find mostly the brothers are fighting each other. Some places, some are good examples. But generally fighting is a common thing. So, actual real brother is this, that he is ready to give even life for other one. If necessary, I am ready to give my life for my brother. This should be the relationship. He was not only a well-wisher of Arjuna, but actually a benefactor. And to make it still more perfect, the Lord tied him into a familiar relationship by arranging Subhadra's marriage with him. So also he was the brother-in-law in relationship. Kṛṣṇa was brother-in-law of Arjuna also. Actually, they were related before also, and again that increased. And friendliness is there is no comparison. There is no comparison of this friendliness. As Lord Kṛṣṇa was on the chariot, empowering Arjuna. Kṛṣṇa was empowering Arjuna. That's why he was able to do this all Herculean tasks. Otherwise, Arjuna could not. And above all, the Lord agreed to become a chariot driver of Arjuna in order to protect his friend from warfare's risks. And the Lord became actually happy when he established the Pandavas to rule over the world. Arjuna remembered all these one after another, and thus he became overwhelmed with such thoughts. Not only Arjuna, even Yudhiṣṭhira Maharaj, he was crying day after day. He didn't sleep at night. At night, instead of sleeping, he's crying, standing, crying, hitting his head to the pillar. What I did, what I did. I killed my spiritual master. I killed my grandfather. What I did. So in that way, they were so much grief-stricken that they could not sleep for months. So this is the example of a perfect human being. A person with humanity, a person with reality. Okay, time is almost. So, any question or comment in this regard? Just like in the Vaishnava song, when some Vaishnava departs, he says that Pashane kutiva matha anole poshibo. I'll break my head on the stone. I'll enter into fire. So, in separation of Vaishnava, one feels great distress. Great distress. Of course, we know that Vaishnava does not die. At the same time, we are bereft of their association. We are bereft of their guidance. That will not be available anymore. So, feeling grief-stricken is a symptom of deep relation. Of course, cannot be imitated, has to be real. Yes, Mataji. Oh. It is said that suppose today is Ekadashi, so the Ekadashi has to start 1 hour and 36 minutes before sunrise. Has to start. If it is not started, even for 1 minute less, then that day, although whole day Ekadashi, still that it is not a proper Ekadashi for us. We do not observe that because it is touched with previous tithi, Dashami, Dashami Viddha. Dashami Viddha Ekadashi is not auspicious. On the other hand, if the Ekadashi is touching Dwadashi, then it is auspicious, better than even Ekadashi, Mahadadashi. So, and these other festivals are calculated from the sunrise onwards. If within sunrise that tithi started, then can be done. Not 1 hour 36 minutes. For other festivals, if the tithi begins with the sunrise or after sunrise, that tithi can be, not after tithi, sunrise. It has to start with sunrise or before sunrise. If it is so, then we observe the same. So this ordinary tithis and Ekadashi has got this difference. So I don't know what was the timing for starting of this tithi. Advaita Acharya's appearance is on the Saptami. There was Panchami on 5th. On 5th was Panchami. Vasanta Panchami. And then Shashti, sixth day, sixth tithi. And then Saptami. So 5, 6, 7th. On 7th, Panchami, Shashti, Saptami. 7th is Saptami. 5 is Panchami. 5 is Panchami. 6th is Shashti. 7th is Saptami. Saptami is supposed to be appearance of Advaita Acharya. Sometimes the tithi becomes short or long. Sometimes the tithi goes mixed. So then that is calculation of the calculators of Panjika. Vaishnava Panjika calculated by our Pandits. They know what time which tithi is beginning and what tithi is ending. It is not for ordinary heads. When Ekadashi tithi starts, when ends, and they know which tithi is beginning at what time, which is ending at what time. So for us, we laymen, we just follow what is there in the Panjika, what is in the calendar. Because we do not know, I do not know about how the tithi starts and ends. This calculation is beyond ordinary calculation. Right? So we will accept what is calculated in the calendar. Prabhu. Okay. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.